Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into a really simple but powerful and data-driven way to think about building wealth, all based on the book Just Keep Buying. So let's just kick things off with a pretty big question. What if all that common advice you've heard your whole life about money, about saving, picking stocks, timing the market, what if it's all just wrong? And that's really the heart of what we're exploring today. This isn't about opinions or gut feelings. Nope. This is all grounded in the work of data scientist Nick Maggioli, who uses cold, hard numbers to challenge some of the biggest myths in finance. Okay, let's dive right in, starting with what might just be the biggest lie in personal finance. Oh yeah, you've heard this one a million times, right? The whole idea that if you just cut out every little joy in your life, you'll magically wake up one day and be rich. But here's the reality check. The data is pretty clear. For a huge chunk of the population, we're talking the bottom 40% of US households, their income just barely covers the essentials. For them, trying to save their way to wealth isn't a viable strategy. It just makes an already tough life even harder. And this gets to a really crucial point, the fundamental difference between saving and earning. See, saving is finite. There's a hard limit on how much you can possibly cut from your budget. But your potential to earn more, well, that's basically infinite. And the data shows that earning is the most reliable path to actually building wealth. So the framework the book lays out is super clear. It all starts with focusing on increasing your income. Then you take that money and you invest it in assets that make even more money for you. And for most of us, this isn't some crazy get-rich-quick scheme. It's about building a career, learning valuable skills, and growing your income steadily over time. Okay, so that makes sense. You're earning more, you've got money to invest. The next logical question is, what exactly do you do with it? For most of us, the stock market is the easiest, most accessible way to own a piece of these income-producing assets. But that opens up a whole new can of worms, doesn't it? How are you supposed to actually invest? I think we all have this image in our heads, right? That to get rich in the market, you've got to be a genius who can find the next Apple or the next Google before anyone else. But is that even realistic? Well, let's just look at the numbers because they don't lie. Over a 5-year period, a whopping 75% of professional fund managers, these are people whose full-time job is to pick stocks, they failed to do better than the simple market average. Let that sink in. If the pros can't do it, what are our chances? This brings us to what the book calls the investor's dilemma. How do you even know if you're good at this? In sports or coding, you know if you're good. But in investing, it's almost impossible to tell if your success is because of skill or just pure dumb luck. You could feel like a genius for 10 years, and then bam, one bad year wipes it all away. So what's the logical, data-driven thing to do? It's actually incredibly simple. Put the vast majority of your money, let's say 95%, into broad market index funds that just own a little bit of everything. And if you still want to get that thrill of picking stocks, go for it. But just use a tiny slice of your portfolio and treat it like a hobby, not like your retirement plan. All right, so we're focusing on earning, and we know we should just buy the whole market. But that brings us to the final massive myth we need to tackle. When should we actually invest our money? So let's imagine a showdown between two strategies over 40 years. In one corner, you've got buy the dip. This person is a genius. They save up cash and they only invest at the absolute, perfect bottom of a market crash. In the other corner, you have just keep buying. This person invests the same amount of money every single month like clockwork, no matter what the market is doing. Who do you think wins? The answer, which might totally blow your mind, is that the simple, consistent, just keep buying strategy wins. It's not even close. So why? How can being consistent beat being perfect? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. Historically, the stock market goes up most of the time. So while our buy the dip genius is sitting on the sidelines waiting for that perfect moment, their cash is just sitting there, missing out on all that growth. It turns out the price you pay for being out of the market is way bigger than the reward you get for timing it perfectly. So after we've busted all these myths, what are we left with? Well, it's a beautifully clear, simple path forward. Let's just boil it all down. The whole just keep buying framework is really just 3 simple steps. Number 1,
put your energy into increasing your income. Number 2, invest your money as early as you can and as often as you can. And number 3, don't try to be a stock-picking hero. Just buy the entire market with simple, low-cost index funds. That's it.
And really, if you take just one thing away from all of this, let it be this final thought. Building wealth isn't about the thrill of hitting home runs. It's a defensive game. It's about avoiding the big, stupid mistakes, staying disciplined, and just letting time do the heavy lifting for you. It's not about thinking how to win, it's about thinking how not to lose.